Welcome. So this edition of Yojana December focuses mainly on the India's growth trajectory, specifically with logistics, infrastructure, science and technology. So the very first thing that we would start is India is emerging as the fourth largest world economy with fastest expansion and a significant rise in the budgetary capital expenditure. The real GDP growth of somewhere around 6.5%. The capital expenditure, which was somewhere at around 2 lakh crores, increasing to nearly 11 lakh crores in a period of 10 years. Then there has been a highway revolution under the Bharatmala Pariyojana, where the national highways have increased from somewhere around 90,000 kilometers in length to nearly 150,000 kilometers in length. Now, some of the major states where most highway constructions are done include Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, with a peak construction rate of nearly 37 kilometers a day, which is being constructed. Also, if we look onto logistics, the world logistics ranking, we are somewhere at around 38th rank, and the idea is to aim for top 25. That aims to reduce the cost significantly, because reducing the logistics cost to below 10% of the GDP would significantly make India's export more competitive, and developing 35 multimodal logistic parks to integrate storage. Then there is the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, which focuses on integration and data layers, using nearly 1700 data layers for better and precise planning, with the impact of nearly evaluation of 300 projects and a digital ecosystem. And then the challenges comes in the form of land acquisition, the gaps in the funding, and the soil planning. However, with Bhumi Rashi portal, digitizing and better acquisition, asset monetization and invites, which brings in better private investments, and PM Gati Shakti, which brings in a unified planning for road development. The next is shifting from learning to earning, which is the next century education. So new reality focuses on some of the important facts that we have seen. There has been a significant rise in the life expectancy from nearly 58 years in 1990 to 82 years by 2050, and the active working population growing somewhere from the active working years at 35 growing up to 60 years by 2050. That means there is rising life expectancy, longer working years, and need for a continuous upskilling. So traditional degree, if you hold, there was a core degree. However, the next generation education focuses not only on the core degree, but foundational credit, micro credentials, and work experience as a significant growth parameter. And students' competency profile is built around the new model under the new education policy. So this gray one denotes only the science and technology portion and academic theory that was covered in the previous regime. However, now it focuses on industrial experiences, soft skills, art and culture, and vocational skills. Then building a unified digital education through Skill Digital Hub, better productivity and wages. And we have seen that the incomes have been rising continuously with a significant growth in the next 10 years. Bringing in more flexible, portable, and relevant system is important. The next is integrating Ayush system. So science has been developing. With the scientific developments, the traditional sciences have gained nearly 8 times in last 10 years, with a current value of nearly $43 billion. And therefore, Ayush, Yoga, Siddha, Unani, and Soga Ripa are some of the major alternative therapies. We have seen a significant 8-fold increase, as we already said. So there are various transformational architectures which are present. So hospital management systems under Ayush, Ayush Grid, then eSanjeevani, which is a telemedicine integration, and finally meeting the WHO benchmarks. The aim is to increase the Ayush industry by nearly $200 billion industry from a $40 billion industry. So initially in 2014, there was creation of Ministry of Ayush. Then there was integration of genomics and AI with Prakriti Parikshan as one of the major initiatives. By 2029, we aim to have a value of $200 billion, and by 2047, we aim to create a global leadership with patient-focused holistic care under Ayush. The next is transforming into global powerhouse through the National Manufacturing Mission. The idea is, since the 1991 reforms, we have opened the doors for the world, but there has been a stagnation. The current share is somewhere at around 16%. The target is to make this reach nearly 25%. There are numerous bottlenecks which have been affecting it. If we look onto the overall picture, 99% of India's enterprise are small and medium enterprises, and only 1% is a large enterprise. The cost of moving goods, the logistic cost, is somewhere at around 14% of the GDP. Then there are industrial corridors, logistic hubs, pipelines and Sagarmala project which have been important, and more importantly the production linked incentive, which brings in investment, sales and jobs together, but aligns with semiconductor mission, boosting green infrastructure and green manufacturing. So if we look onto industry 4.0, there has been renewable energy, more focus on artificial intelligence and IoT systems to strengthen the world. The next is quantum leap. So India is climbing 42 places between the last one decade and has emerged as a powerhouse for transformation, for innovation. Moving from a global rank of 80 to somewhere at around 40, there has been a significant innovations which have been brought, with top 10 patents in design, India being among the top 10 in patents and design. Now, Startup India, Industry 4.0, digital infrastructure and education and research are some of the major aspects, with indigenous innovation, domestic patent filing, industrial design are again an important indicators for the same. Bringing on security, sovereignty and statesmanship, there has been the idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat, strategic realism and integral humanism which has been into focus, and bringing this on the table has been important. So if we look onto the diplomatic balance, we have seen that the relations have been wavering with the nations. However, the relationship warmth, if we look onto the index, it has been very high in the recent years, with nearly all the nations in contrast to the previous status. And also the diplomatic risks have been very important in terms of security impact. So integration of the country, border security and strategic autonomy are some of the major aspects. Then NISAR, which is the NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar. It is a powerful low Earth orbit which can map the entire globe in 12 days. So bringing in all weather day and night data from this at an altitude of 747 kilometers with a daily data input of around 80 terabytes have been important. So there have been engineering marvels which are done. We have seen the massive reflectors, how they are performing, the leaf canopy, the signal penetration for that, and the small branches, the trunks, how the target density have been very important. So checking the hydrology, hazards, cryosphere in ecosystem are some of the major aspects under the NISAR technology, built by in collaboration with NASA and ISRO. It has a very important L and S band radar, S band SAR, that is the aperture radar. Then there are spacecraft buses under ISRO, launch vehicle as GSLV Mark II, deployable boom of 12 meters reflector system, and high system data download. India has been one of the fastest major growing economies with an accelerated growth of nearly 7.8%, ranking 1 among major industries, with private consumptions accounting to nearly 60% of the GDP. Government is spending somewhere at around 10%, investments at 32% has been significant. Now manufacturing has increased significantly from 17% to 25%. There have been structural reforms with GST, better compliance and formalization of economy, better export growth, and green economy and green India has been one of the major ideas. The last one that we focus on is forging the one force, that is the air, navy and army together. So the tri-service coming together together and showcasing its control have been important. The operational impacts that have been seen during the various attacks, and then the multi-domain threat interception has been important, that can be visualized with this diagram here, right? So those are some of the threat interceptions that have been explained under the strategic performance index. And the last one for today is one of the different topics from the theme, and that is about Ravindra Jain, one of the Padma Shri awardees, known for the developments in music. He's known for his situational cinema, devotional music, and blind since infancy. His inner vision was one of the reasons that led to such a growth, where a combination of Rabindra Sangeet with the traditional art had brought into foundation. So early foundations were basically when there was the influence of Rabindra Sangeet, then there was a breakthrough with the Bollywood, the production era with Rajshri movies, and finally the Padma Shri award, which is the highest India's civilian award. Some of the major giant works includes Ramanand Sagar, and with the Rajshri production, where the works have been significant. His legacy goes beyond music, with education, social support, actively supporting the visually impaired population, and then there have been the support pillars around him who have been always been acknowledged, and his workshops for underprivileged children have been really important. So those are some of the important things that we have discussed in Yojana December 2025. Of course, we'll be starting with 2026 in the next session. So wish you good luck and wish you a successful new year. Thank you.